we were talking about different shows coming out. Don't you feel like it's kind of soulless, like Amazon Prime? Like, I don't know, a company like Amazon, maybe that's less. I don't know. I kind of forgot about them getting their start with selling books, basically. So maybe that makes sense, kind of, to as a story-oriented company. I just don't think of. I don't know. You think of what's the guy? Studio Ghibli, the guy that made Spirited Away.
I have no idea what that is.
You know, remember when the Spirited Away Studio Ghibli AI art craze happened and everybody was turning their profile pictures to anime and stuff? And then the anime studio came out and was all like, hey, stop doing that.
No.
Oh.
What, because of copyright?
Yeah. Very
No, but there's a lot of
distinct style that they have, and that was like Spirited Away, and a lot of his other movies were like really big, you know, the big milestones in anime history, basically. It's like if you were to have a bunch of AI rip-off art of Dragon Ball Z, people would be like, what the hell?
Well, nowadays, I mean, I don't really know about that stuff specifically, but generally, a lot of video games now are getting scrutiny about overusage of AI. If it's a good quality thing in a game, I don't really see a problem with it. But I think it's, I don't know, it's just people don't like it. I can see why.
Well, whenever one of the things that sticks out over the years, watching like the Angry Joe News and various other videos about video games and the process of them being made, there's always like the crunch time stories and deadline stories and the employees getting laid off and shuffled around and how there's no job security in the gaming industry. And even right now, Rockstar has protesters outside of a lot of their offices.
Why?
Because they tried to break up a union that was forming of Rockstar employees that were sick of that whole level of shenanigans. Yeah, so to me it's like video games is already a computer animated, it's already computer animation. You don't need AI for it. You know, I have seen very little, even those like photorealistic Sasquatch videos and all this kind of shit. Very little, I mean, come on, what's beating like Red Dead Redemption 2 still, even? You know, that's basically what I'm getting at. Like, yeah, they look good, but let's stop the gaslighting nonsense. Like, you couldn't tell it wasn't AI. The only time you can't tell if it's AI is when so many blurring effects have been added. Oh, you got a computer-generated fog that you had to put in yourself because an AI, if you added that to the prompt, it would be too obvious. You got to have film grain and all kinds of shit to obscure it so that you can make I saw a Bigfoot monster video kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? Like, the video, you have to have fake low video quality to obscure the AI-ness of it. Like, I haven't seen any
But then
videos
wouldn't
that.
it just get to a point where people are generating the AI generated stuff with those filters anyway?
Well, yeah, but the point I'm getting at is people are being gaslit. Basically, the way I see it is, corporate CEOs don't want to pay employees, so they're gaslighting everybody into thinking that AI is going to be better than human artists, which is not.
Well, kind of reminds me of the fact that a lot of these AAA titles, the quality of it is centered around graphics, and that's naturally kind of like how video games have been built up over the years.
Well, what I'm getting at is like the video game industry is already super duper cutthroat as it is. We don't need AI displacing workers more than they're already displaced by Rockstar just trying to form a basic union.
I think the bigger concern in the future, though, would be if there were AI engines for games. Like if there was something that was AI generated that's literally like something like Unreal Engine.
Well, we were talking about like procedurally generated stuff last time. I mean, procedurally generated stuff has always existed.
I don't think it's problematic if it's used the right way. And
yeah, well, I was saying with in that sense, in order to create that kind of language model where, like we were talking about last time, so you have Skyrim, you already made Skyrim, all the employees at Bethesda did their jobs, Skyrim got made, right? And then you add on top the chat bots infused with the NPCs that have the context of the game to scrape off of, so that their replies aren't just generic chatbot stuff. And so you're adding to it. It becomes a problem for me, and none of the art there was made by it, right? The Ubisoft has such poor credit in the marketplace that, because I think normally what they've done with that new game where they're talking about your companion NPCs being controlled by straight up AI, I think normally that wouldn't be such a big deal. People would be curious and be like, oh, that sounds like a cool, as long as we're not, once again, displacing people's jobs and half the art is AI and garbage slop and da-da-da-da. Once again, we got like I said, a full game that's been made, right? And then you're introducing some AI aspects. Yeah. So, but Ubisoft's reputation is so poor that they can't even get away with like saying that they're gonna, everybody immediately is like, jump on them. So, yeah.
Well, Ubisoft, their stocks have gone down significantly. There's a YouTube channel I watch. It's Gaming News, and I've just, over the past few years, I've seen games that basically lose their online support, or they're at a point where their player base number is so low. But I remember that started happening around the time when they were making like Ghost Recon games that didn't have a lot of interest in the multiplayer.
Well, yeah, because
The Division's a really good game, both 1 and 2.
This kind of steps onto like a backsliding, losing of ground that I talked about.
Well, the other thing is I think they had a lot of scrutiny about their game licensing.
Was The Division always online? No single player campaign? story mode.
It's meshed into multiplayer.
Yeah. Like, back in the day, in like the peak of the 360 era, a lot of games started coming out. Like the original Titanfall came out. It was a straight multiplayer, no single player campaign. Everybody crapped on it. When Angry Joe did reviews on these games, he said, it's automatic, no badass seal of approval. You get you deducted a whole bunch of points, almost 0 stars. Never mind. Sitting there going, Call of Duty, what is this? 4 hours campaign? Pathetic, right? No campaign. So it used to be, this is like the ground that we've lost at gamer, that gamers have allowed this always online single player, this always online multiplayer battle royale shit basically is what it is. Like PUBG and Fortnite, and now Halo Infinite gotta try to be like PUBG and Fortnite with a big open world and all the MMO style, and then every game gotta copy that. Apex.
Well, it's still first-person shooter though.
Yeah, but all these games are pointless because there's like Halo could get away with it.
I played Halo Infinite
They already
a few
got
years ago, and I felt it was just kind of too bulky. Like the weapons felt very bulky, and it plays a lot differently than
like
the other
Apex
games.
Legends. Who gives a flying hell about these characters?
Destiny was good though.
You get a little, Destiny too, but I mean, you get a little description box next to your character that you pick, and if somebody said we're gonna make a Dead Space multiplayer or a Metal Gear Solid multiplayer, you got the context of the single player campaigns that give you the reason to care about the multiplayer. Frickin' people are sitting there. The only
because
reason
it's a separate thing.
The only reason why, so Battlefield 6, for instance, had a weak single-player campaign where they beat around the bush and they didn't want to call the enemy countries China or Russia or whatever, and everybody was like, yeah, the campaign was kind of dog water, right? And the only reason why Battlefield 6 is looked at so successfully is because Call of Duty is absolute garbage these days. And why is Call of Duty garbage? Well, they did the same thing,
They're on a time crunch, and then they now expanded that release time to 2 years instead of 1 year. But the thing about Ubisoft is, I think The Division was a really strong series for them.
The Division. The Division is the same as Fallout 76. It's held to the normal standard that we had back in the day that we lost. 0 stars. That game was generic, boring, had very little going on. They patched it over and over and over again and added stuff. No, come out with a functioning game that isn't trash. Fallout 76, just trash for years.
Fallout
And
76
they
was
finally added. See, like, my thing is, if you go back to the original Angry Joe review of the situation there, whatever the hell that game is called.
What?
I can't remember. We're talking about it though.
The Division?
There we go. The Division. Poofy Winter Hat game. so
I loved it.
So like
Both of
I
them.
still play Angry Joe's original review of Fallout 76 when Fallout 76 fans talk about it. And I still default to the original review of The Division where he trashes on it for being generic as crap. Because come out with the game, we would not tolerate a broken, buggy, content-stripped, bare-bones GTA or Red Dead Redemption 2 that took 5 years of updates so that you could finally say, oh, it's a good game now, right? Where this is way beyond somebody saying, no, trust me, you got to play 20 hours of Final Fantasy before it becomes good. We're talking about years of patches and updates. It's unacceptable.
I tried Fallout 76, and I did not find it interesting enough to get past like the first 20 minutes. The fact that it just starts off the way that it does, and I've said this before, I don't hate storyline elements of like introducing a game. There's another game recently that reminded me of that.
Well,
but,
they just recently...
The Outer Worlds 2, I think it's called, was really boring to me, like having to start a campaign like that. It's just because there's so many games that I've already played where it's not some spectacular introduction. And if I just want to play multiplayer or have some idea of it being faster pace, like combat sort of thing, if I want that, and I usually do, because
I just appreciate the Outer Worlds because it's a different genre to put the sort of Bethesda RPG system in. You know, you got your post-apocalyptic. Fallout is basically just Skyrim with guns, so let's do it in space, why not? So, you know, but at least it isn't a by itself multiplayer. It's not Skyrim. It's not Elder Scrolls Online. You know, like I've said, you know, GTA 5 Online, basically immortal because it was GTA combined with the online mode. If they had done that with Fallout 76 and made it the online mode to Fallout 4, nobody would have hated it. Nobody would have talked trash about it. They would have been like, oh, word, neat. Fallout 4's got an online mode now. You know, if they tried to sell you Grand Theft Auto Online separately from GTA 5, people would have laughed in Rockstar's face. That's what I'm saying. So for some reason, sometimes there's this double standard where it's like OG gamer fan bases versus like the kids that don't like remember the age of just put the disc in the console, you don't got to download hours worth of crap, and you just play the game, and then you use in-game points that you earned from completing missions to buy skins and weapons and da-da-da-da. You know what I mean?
Here's kind of where it would have been reconciled. I used to play a lot of Half-Life mods, and there's a website called Nexus Mods. So I'd look at how there's hundreds or thousands of mods, right? And some of these are very customized and interesting. There's another thing called Tomb Raider Level Editor. So like these are communities around these websites, or they're mod communities, right? On Xbox or consoles generally, the failure of how they don't have some kind of like server that people could create things on a computer, upload it to a website, and you download it on a console. The fact that they don't have that is part of how a lot of these games aren't thriving as much with their multiplayer communities, or people have a lot of complaints about it. As far as Skyrim, I saw that there was a multiplayer mod on PC for Skyrim, and that's separate from Elder Scrolls Online. I didn't play it, but I remember also, like, before Fallout 76, there were people saying that there should be a multiplayer mod for Fallout. And so it kind of was at phases of where there isn't that mod support on a console.
Like, I don't remember the full quote, but Yahtzee from Zero Punctuation once said that the multiplayer is supposed to be the test of all your accrued skills over the course of the single-player campaign.
Yeah, sure.
And even further, I would add to that, like, ultimately, what I wanted back in the day was... We've gone in the opposite direction, but as long as you don't have some kind of like the caps glitch like in Fallout 3 in New Vegas,
where you just get unlimited caps from a game save, like you go back in.
No, you just you have to do the caps glitch, but you know what I mean. But
So I had one that was at like a gun factory or like a smelting area, and I just got unlimited ammo and whatever.
regardless, ultimately, you want to be able to bring your in-game stats, character, items, and everything over to the multiplayer.
Yeah.
So that character that you're attached to from the whole single-player campaign is
So
the character
if
that
Fallout had some kind of throttled difficulty to where you can't do those glitches or use those add-ons, and then you can port it to multiplayer,
Well,
that's
you know-
it'd be cool. But if you had squads also.
Well, Fallout 4 doesn't really have that problem. There is the duplication glitch for resources, thank God, because I think honestly, like, I don't know. It's probably not the best game for it, Fallout, that example. I guess you would have to, like, have some kind of a system that detected whether or not you did the duplication glitch, and maybe the duplicated items wouldn't exist in the online mode, but you get the point. You want your character that you become attached to, instead of hitting up a multiplayer menu with a bunch
It's
of random
supposed to be as
guys.
simple as you don't have to like calculate how these things should happen, but
Dark
they should
Souls
be already
is a
in the
good
game.
example. Dark Souls is a good example where when you are in multiplayer mode, you're still playing the main campaign of Dark Souls, only now some of the NPCs that spawn in to attack you know this? You know how the Dark Souls invasion
I bought
system
Dark
works?
Souls 3, played it, and like didn't get past the first area.
So the Dark
But I know
Souls,
it's a good game.
The invasion system in Dark Souls, this is great. This would be fantastic for a game like Fallout. The invasion system in Dark Souls, when you're playing the normal campaign, the random NPCs that attack you can be other players invading your game with their character from their game.
Yeah,
That's like the purest form of it.
I was
to
playing.
me.
I was playing DayZ, which is, like I told you, it's very slow progress unless you have a server that's a community server, and it's got like a looting multiplier or gun bags to start. I was playing that, and I was thinking, what if there was a game where there's like instances of a lot of people playing as NPCs, or actually it wasn't that. I was watching a YouTube video about horror games and jump scares and stuff like that. So what if you had NPCs that could be players, right? But it's a horror game. And there's one person or four people like playing as the person walking around as a human, and then there's zombies or whatever, but as jump scares, or I don't know, there's a lot of creative stuff that could be put into it.
Just the fact, like, what makes it interesting, because I think, like, Halo lets you spawn in as a flood guy
Yeah, that's a good example.
in multiplayer, but still, that is in a vacuum.
It
It's
still
in
doesn't feel very different.
It's in a multiplayer arena, right? You're in a little arena. It's not like you're playing the single player.
Oh, you're talking about Infection, like the zombie
Yeah,
mode?
whatever.
Yeah.
I played it briefly, but the point is that is your Call of Duty little multiplayer map there. That is your Battlefield little multiplayer map. It's not like you're playing the single player campaign to Halo and the flood are being controlled by other people. That's the difference. If it was Dark Souls, then you're playing. If it was like Dark Souls, then you're playing the normal single player campaign and the multiplayer elements have been sprinkled in like that. And you can choose to invade somebody else's game if you want. That kind of, you know.
I think of it as there was a time where these games were coming out, and there's a quality drop off at some point. And I look at it as like, I love Ghost Recon. Rainbow Six was a lot of fun. Like,
Yeah, so Ghost Recon circling all the way back around, they made the same mistake. Instead of having a tight linear campaign with story and everything, they tried to do a big open world and have the Far Cry routine of raiding bases. And it ultimately, they thought it was a good idea because they aren't freaking Ubisoft and they don't know what making a Far Cry game is like. But ultimately, those games become kind of boring as soon as you get a good
Far
sniper
Cry
rifle.
3 was good, and then I think after that it
was
feels
good.
kind of rehashed.
It was good because of the story elements.
No,
But
I love the multiplayer on 360.
Oh, well, I never really messed with the multiplayer, but he is still checking off a list of boxes, going from least to most difficult outpost with your silenced sniper rifle of doom.
Well, the other thing is Far Cry, at least Far Cry 3, it reminded me of Dead Island.
You had Spaz or whatever his name was there, the Spanish guy with the freaking goatee. The mohawk. And the
I don't
goatee.
know. Isn't each game like, I know
The
one of them's
villain.
like a Spanish dictator, and then there's probably another one with a Spanish dictator.
It wasn't the one. You're thinking of the one who was played by the guy from Breaking Bad, who's the cartel boss, who's the boss of the dry cleaning place.
I don't know. There's one that's a guy running a church, but he's like a crazy guy.
That's the one that takes place in the United States
Yeah.
after like an EMP and stuff.
That one had an interesting introduction. I don't think I played
Yeah.
much further than that, but
No, the newest one I've heard is the most boring, but that's just because the formula, like it's the same game.
well,
basically.
here's the thing. There's EA Game Pass.
Let's go smoke another cigarette.
When people, at least when I looked at it kind of objectively, like there's EA Game Pass and there's Ubisoft Plus, or like,
Yeah, can you imagine paying for that? Ubisoft Plus, a subscription service to Ubisoft? You out of mind?
well, actually around holidays or whenever they have sales.
You're one
there was a
gaming
time.
company. You do not have enough IP.
Well, I just
flowing
pick
to
out what I would want
have
that
a
would.
freaking subscription service.
Well, like I look at why they would put something on a Game Pass sort of thing, and then already remember that Xbox Game Pass is good.
Paramount Plus. Like I would never subscribe to that. You're one production company. Why do you think you need a streaming service?
Well, you have to consider
Turn on
there's
the
there's
TV.
people who love Assassin's Creed, right? And people who love Far Cry. I look at it like I have Assassin's Creed games that I don't really find interesting so much.
After you
Played them on
Assassin's Creed
PS4.
3, it's pointless. They're pointless to play after you play.
Well, Black
Assassin's
Flag multiplayer, I played that for a few
If
hours.
you've seen the end, well, that one's good to play just because it's fun. But if you've seen the end of 3, you know all there is. To
Yeah, I have no interest in that storyline though.
Well, so do you? You get it though. You get the storyline of Assassin's Creed though.
It's some kind of like brotherhood, fraternity, like I don't know what takes place in like the 1700s.
No. So literally, all right. So there's 2 angles you can approach this at. One, you've never heard of the followers of Hassan.
Sounds like a YouTube.
The man of the mountain.
No, it reminds me
Shambhala.
of like this YouTube controversy
the
about a
hidden-
guy named Hassan.
The hidden kingdom in the sand. The assassins, the actual assassins, were called the White Ones, the followers of Hassan. They actually wore white robes with a red sash, and actually kept a poison dagger, and actually would, on command,
Like rogues.
yeah. On command, actually would jump off the tops of buildings just to show, like one time some Christian kings visited Hassan, and he pointed up to the cliffside, and there was like 1,000 of his dudes up there, and he was like, I have 1,000 of my white ones will do the same after a bunch of them jumped off of the cliff. And the Christian king was like, oh, no Christian king can ask this kind of loyalty of their men. But the actual assassins were crazy, like, basically So he had a
Wait,
hidden-
is this a real
Yes,
thing
this is
that
real
happened?
actual history. The followers of Hassan, the
Okay.
actual
Of course.
hashish fucking assassins. So he had a hidden little castle set up in a valley. All right. This is wild within Islam. Basically, if you got
Yeah, it
if you're
sounds like it
close
takes
enough-
place in the Middle East.
yeah, well,
right?
yeah, that's where the assassins were.
What
But so
country?
If you're like adjacent enough, fucking. Well, they spread it all throughout the Middle East. But basically in Islam, if you're adjacent enough to Muhammad's bloodline and you got enough dudes that like you can claim to be a god, basically. And so this dude Hassan started off with a couple of hundred guys. It made this whole palace in the fucking in this hidden valley where like you'd be walking around and be like a fucking desert, you know, but in the palace it's all lush and green. He brought in stuff from gardens all over the world and different animals, and had like the ground gilded with silver and gold so that he could have literal fucking rivers of milk flowing
Just
through the shit and
ridiculous.
wine.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is what he would do. Fucking you would get the initiates to come and join. They would talk to some guy and then they drug you. And you'd wake up in the fucking palace.
Oh, cool.
And they would tell you that you
Oh,
had,
I remember that in Far Cry. Right?
Well-
there's, yeah, I think the one that I played, the guy wakes up in some kind of,
that's Shangri-La. That's a Tibetan Hindu thing that's different. Fucking no, they would drug you, you'd pass out, you'd wake up in the fucking palace, and then they would tell you that you had died and gone to heaven. And yeah. And
Can I just sneak by you, hon? I'm sorry.
oh yeah.
I apologize. I may interrupt
Oh, it's
you.
fine.
no worries.
And they
Thank
would
you.
tell you basically that only Hassan had the ability to bring you back and forth between these two places. And so you would party for like a week in the palace, fucking with all the bitches, drinking the drugged milk and the wine out of the rivers and shit. And fucking then you'd wake up back in like the normal shitty castle outside in the middle of the desert.
Is that what happened to all 1,000 of those guys?
He did this to thousands of people. This was like the most intense gaslighting operation in human history. It's crazy.
And so one of these Far Cry, or no, Assassin's Creed, it's all based on that?
Yeah.
Is it like trying to be as accurate as possible? No. I would think
No.
it would deviate.
He would literally take some of the initiates that he had brought to the palace, the one that was like heaven, and he'd bring him to the shitty palace out in the fucking desert. And he had a special pit in the floor with a plate so that you could stand in the pit and the plate would close around your head so that your head just looked like it was sitting on the floor. And he would, now you gotta remember this is fucking 1,000 years ago in the Middle East, so people will believe some superstitious shit. And so he would bring the new initiates that hadn't been to the heaven palace yet into that room with the head sitting on the floor with some blood decorated around it to make it look
Fake.
real.
Yeah, but it's fake.
And he would say, I will now reanimate this decapitated head, and he will tell you the glories of the heaven that awaits you if you serve the assassins faithfully.
And
And
the guy's on a drug trip?
the guy would he'd shuffle the guy, and the guy would wake up and tell you about the glorious castle full of women and exotic plants and animals and everything. And then he had a little button in the floor that he'd press, and the fucking spring-loaded guillotine in it would cut his fucking head off. So that, you know, because that would make it real. Now the guy's actually dead, he can pick the head up off the floor.
So they're guillotining some of them
Yeah, a few of them, yeah. For the new initiates.
for others.
Yeah.
And then some of those guys don't get guillotined. And then they rank up in the system of assassins.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, The only thing they didn't actually have was the hidden blade thing. They just used a dagger. Just used a normal dagger. But they would jump off the fucking top of a skyscraper if Hassan said to do it.
Have you ever played Thief?
Wait, what was the point? Oh yeah, the point. In Assassin's Creed 3, so the point I was getting at is there's two ways to look at it. There's the original actual history of the Assassins, which I was just talking about. Like, it's funny too, man. Imagine, in real life, the Assassins, like, half of what they did was actual assassinations. Like, you think of one or two guys jumping out of a corner in the rafters and stabbing a dude and then running off into the night. Like, half of it was that. The other half of it is they actually fielded armies, sometimes large, up to 2,000 guys. Like, imagine 2,000 of those assassin motherfuckers in their fucking white robes with the red thing and the daggers running at you. But, and they even had fights with the Knights Templar during the Crusades. And what was interesting, during their interactions, when they started negotiating with each other after multiple stalemates, the fucking assassins said, allegedly, to the Knights Templar, said, "We'll follow Jesus with you if it'll make us more powerful." And the Knights Templar, I made a meme about this. I put a Templar knight I took a scene from Assassin's Creed where the assassin and the Templar guy look like they're having a conversation, and the speech bubble said, "I'll follow Jesus with you if it'll make me more powerful." And the Templar Knight speech bubble says, "Well, actually, I worship Satan, so..." That's awkward. But
yeah, that whole thing sounds absolutely crazy.
So now, but the storyline that's at the end of Assassin's Creed 3, basically, you unlock this kind of underground crypt to the past civilization, whatever, and you get to watch a hologram thingy. And so basically what it shows you at the end of Assassin's Creed 3 is this futuristic past civilization that looks super futuristic, and it gets wiped out by a solar flare. And all these vaults that you're opening up in Assassin's Creed, all these artifacts are just like technological remnants left over from the previous civilization.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in Assassin's Creed that's like the vision in the first person view is like kind of like magical.
Yeah, well, the point I'm getting at is, like, it's kind of pointless to play him after 3, and I don't know, like, you would think at some point the point would be that they're going to find some way to stop the next solar flare and wipe out civilization, right? But I don't know, like, I never finished Assassin's Creed Black Flag itself, so I don't know what's at the end of that game. But
I just like the multiplayer.
Yeah, no, I never got to play that, but it looked cool.
Did you ever play Dishonored?
Oh, yeah, I actually
think that's
have
similar,
it now.
right?
What, to Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, kind of like I think
mean,
Thief and Dishonored are kind of similar.
It's like a weird kind of mixture between, like, Assassin's Creed, Skyrim, and Thief, if I were to combine something, because it's got the magic elements to it. You got some guns in there too. Dishonored, I never finished that, but I just bought it recently. Want to throw my hand at it again.
Yeah. I love playing Chivalry 2. Of all the Game Pass games, the Xbox cloud gaming thing, probably played like easily over 100 hours of Chivalry 2.
Huh. Yeah, I want to get into Helldivers just because I like the sound of that, having to, you know, like, when talking about interesting things they could do for Battlefield, or I think I mentioned previously, like in Skyrim, they don't really got the balls, they didn't have the balls to have some kind of big invasion of elves come through the border and try to wipe out all the Stormcloaks. That would have been neat if you had to run around the map trying to help defend all the different Stormcloak strongholds from the elves. Yeah, like a big swarm of random NPC enemies comes onto the battlefield map. All of a sudden, the only way to defeat them is to combine forces with the opposite team and fight them together. Or, yeah, so like Helldivers is a team of players not necessarily doing PvP, but they've got a big swath of territory they've got to protect from this large horde of NPCs coming in. And so just the team effort there to hold the line, basically, I think would be a lot of fun.
The pirate game that you were talking about, like the other night, you said, oh, there's only like one pirate game. I think it's Sea of Thieves.
Yes, Sea of
Yeah.
Thieves was the one. Yep, and that was like, it's like Unity Engine on your smartphone level of graphics.
Come here. Stop beeping that thing. Yo.
So Battlefield 6 looks really good. I haven't played it at all, but
Looks like a return to form. I'm not, like, I like the way it looks. I haven't played it yet.
Battlefield 1 looked really good too.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I just mean a return to form as in, like, it's the closest thing we've gotten to Battlefield, like, 3, 4, 2.
Yeah, I played 3.
The contemporary combat. We're not doing goofy cop missions or futuristic hovercrafts. We avoided a rocket-powered Nissan Fiero in space. Unfortunately, Call of Duty went there.
Well, there's Battlefield. They did like a relaunch of. It's not 2142, but it's another.
All franchises eventually escalate into being in outer space. Jason X was the Jason escalation into being in outer space. Fast and Furious did it with a Nissan. Call of Duty did it with Infinite Warfare.
Well, yeah, the setting
Halo
like that
even,
isn't really appealing to me. I don't really care like if it's an outer
Or what, in
space
COD?
game or. Well, I'm just looking at it as 2142, Battlefield 2142 on PC was really good, and Battlefield 2.
The thing that ruins it for me is the same thing that ruined Batman versus Superman for me. If you had Christian Bale's Batman versus Henry Cavill's Superman, that would have been an interesting, contrasting set of performances there. The fact that in Infinite Warfare, it's like an alternate universe, future timeline, COD universe. You know, if we had like the original characters, Raznoff and everybody, like the original 3 or 4 Modern Warfare's worth of characters in that universe, and they get invaded by aliens and have to jerry-rig and shimmy together some kind of response, Space Cowboys style, that would have been interesting. But we've got this contextualist vacuum, in a vacuum kind of copy of Mass Effect.
Yeah, so they don't seem to have much originality,
Like, I
except
wanna-
they do. But it's not interesting to me. Like a lot of these modern games, because where I feel that they fell off is where, like I said, Battlefield 2, Battlefield 2142. These were PC games that were like standalone in their own way that they were.
I wanna feel like I'm playing Black Ops 2 and I'm halfway through the game and then all of a sudden aliens invade and everything goes 180.
That'd be cool too.
Yeah, that's basically what I mean. Because it was just a random
It's kind of like
faction-
Extinction Mode in Call of Duty Ghosts.
like a random faction private military corporation in Infinity wasn't interesting. More human.
In Infinite Warfare?
No, Call of Duty Space game one.
Advanced Warfare?
No, not Call of Duty Advanced Kevin Spacey. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Yeah,
that one.
yeah. So, but what I was trying to say is there's, okay, like I said, Battlefield 2 and 2142 on PC, those are so good that they are basically what should have been the reference points for how they built the modern games. And then Ghost Recon 2 and SOCOM are very good, but these games were so interesting of what they were. Like, they were so impressive that when they stopped using that as the model of the reference of how they make the games, they started kind of rehashing something that's not fully interesting. And I know that especially with what the communities are saying about these games, like, why did the online servers get taken off, and then there's a new release of a game and it's like Battlefield 6, I'm sure is good, right?
Like Battlefield Bad Company 2 had like a
Battlefield
list of
Bad Company was good
characters
too.
with names and personalities. And
The
teams.
storyline of Bad Company was really good. Like,
Right.
that had me just always interested in what the next part of that campaign was.
I don't remember the names of the squad there.
Marlowe.
I think one guy was like Tombstone or something like that, or Breaker or something. But
No, there was Marlowe. I think the other guy was Haggard. And
it's been a while since I played that one. In fact, I played the first one more recently.
yeah, so the first one was, I think, the best. I played Bad Company 2 a long time ago.
No, the first one feels like playing Crackdown versus GTA. Like, it's bare bones. It's bare bones.
For its time, for the online, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and the single player too. But I like the parts where it's like a helicopter flying around
Yeah.
and shooting things down. But there was something about the
Like, I
ranking
still-
progression was fun.
I still remember, like, it's like going from Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect trilogy, to Andromeda. I still remember all the names of all the characters of the first 3 Mass Effect games. I can remember, like, one character's name from Andromeda, BB, the frickin', the Asari chick. She's got, like, a little quirky punk girl attitude. Fun character. That's it, though. I can't remember for the life of me a single other one of the characters.
I think Andromeda was on Game Pass. I think I saw it.
And Andromeda's the same kind of thing. It's checkpoint.
Okay.
It's going from. It feels like Far Cry on a bigger scale. It's going from outpost to outpost, do the thing, clear the baddies, da 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 da. You know.
Yeah, it's just I don't like a lot of the standards of what games, like the style of it anymore. Just because I had a really good idea of what games should be, and now they kind of fell off of that, and it's just,
I feel you.
like I said, SOCOM on PSP was great. I'm sure it was great on PS2. The multiplayer, that was like some of the best multiplayer. Then there's, like when Splinter Cell, they didn't make another Splinter Cell game. That was also the point.
Oh, what was it? Blacklist? Was that the one where you're
That
on
one
a
was
plane?
fun.
That's the one where you're on a plane. The military base you're on gets like raided and destroyed, and you get on a big AC-130, and it becomes yeah. That one was 2-player. I really want.
It's fun. It just wasn't
had
online,
it.
I think.
Yeah, no, but that's fine. It's got split screen. I mean, whatever. Like, I really wanted to get into that one. I don't know what happened to it. I had a copy of it like years ago.
I remember playing it on PC, and then I think the servers were already down.
I beat the one right before that.
Conviction.
Yeah. I beat Conviction.
Yeah, Conviction was a ton of fun.
Yeah, it was.
And even like Chaos Theory, I think it was, or Splinter Cell Double Agent on 360. Multiplayer was awesome. But so they stopped doing those kinds of stealth multiplayer games, and obviously Metal Gear Solid 5 is fun, and that online mode's fun. But it's basically Metal Gear Solid 5 or Metal Gear Online and Splinter Cell. And then they stopped making the Splinter Cell games. Now they have a remake of the original Splinter Cell. I think it's going to be released this year. But it's really at the point where Ghost Recon 2 was using the America's Army engine. Whatever that was, I think it was like an Unreal Engine. And the play style of that was a lot of fun. And Battlefield 2 and 2142 on PC, those are very old games. But that was basically the kind of like criteria of what meets like a good full requirement of a very good game. Like they should have kept making those styles of games. And they didn't. Alright, so I'm gonna bring this home, your stuff, and then I'll just like bring it to you after.
Sure. Alright, just throw it in the back of the computer.
And you're gonna carry that?
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, I guess this has turned out to be a bit more of a gaming episode than anything else. You can check out the Gamers channel over there, Gamers Theory 101, and the group on Facebook. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Oh yeah, found the yellow stuff. Remember, we was talking like in the Halo ads, when they make the Spartans, they inject them with some blue stuff, and we went through all the characters that take some blue stuff to become a superhuman, right?
Yeah.
And I said, speculatively, I wonder if there's some yellow stuff, right? So we found the yellow stuff.
What is it?
They showed it in Avatar: The Way of Water. It's the sperm whale gland juice. I forget what it's called, but it's referenced in a bunch of different stuff. Yeah, this is like the scene in Avatar where they're extracting it. This stuff happens to stop human aging.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's just all fictional. Like,
Well, you never know, right?
probably know about